Полный борт раненых.
Russians have lost up to 35,000 troops in the Kursk direction, including soldiers from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, who suffered losses of up to 4,000 troops. This was stated by President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky in an interview with Polish media, UNN reports. Currently, there are 60,000 Russian troops in the Kursk region who were pulled back from Kharkiv and Sumy and secured these cities from attack.
First of all, we delivered long-range strikes with what we had. Russian Federation weapon depots were destroyed, as well as military equipment and command centers. This is very important. What I told you, for example, on the Kursk direction, 30 to 35,000 losses, is not for nothing. The long-range strikes yielded results, just as we struck after their attacks on our energy sector. We targeted their generating plants. And in the same way, they lost a lot of money, lost part of their logistics, and so on.
Here we are inside a Russian transport plane filled to the brim with critically wounded servicemen who cannot be treated on the ground.
Полный борт раненых. Очень много парней.
The Russians are failing to achieve their strategic goals on any front, said Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Syrsky. He had a phone conversation with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States, Charles Brown. The parties discussed the situation on the front. During the conversation, I informed my American colleague about the situation on the front line, which is characterized by heavy fighting in most directions. Thanks to the courage and bravery of Ukrainian soldiers, the enemy's superior forces have failed to achieve their strategic goals on any front, noted Syrsky. One of Russia's biggest oil refineries is only working at half its regular capacity after a fire broke out at the plant, Russian media report. The plant allegedly stopped the operation of the diesel fuel hydrotreatment unit, losing about 50% of its daily diesel production. The Volgograd oil refinery produced about 7% of all diesel fuel in Russia. The local authorities still claim the fire was accidental, though residents reported that something fell on the plant's territory and exploded. The 40th Coastal Defense Brigade eliminates Russian forces that tried to land in islands in the Dnipro Delta, Kherson region, with regular and cluster munition strikes. Recent intelligence reports indicate that Russian forces may be preparing an offensive over the Dnipro River Delta in southern Ukraine. This area, characterized by its complex network of waterways and marshlands, poses significant logistical challenges, but could offer a strategic path for advancing toward key Ukrainian-held positions, including Kherson. Satellite imagery and reconnaissance suggest an increase in troop movements, pontoon bridges, and amphibious vehicles near the region, signaling potential preparations for a crossing. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's advisors are crafting an oil sanctions strategy aimed at advancing a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, Bloomberg reported Thursday, citing unnamed sources familiar with the discussions. The proposed plan uses a carrot-and-stick approach. In one scenario, Trump's team could ease sanctions on Russian oil producers by issuing general licenses or raising the G7 oil price cap above $60 per barrel if a resolution to the war appears imminent. Conversely, the team is considering tightening sanctions to gain leverage over Moscow. Potential measures could include stricter secondary sanctions targeting European shippers and major buyers in China and India, as well as enhanced monitoring of tanker routes through the Danish and Turkish Straits. These early-stage discussions reportedly involve Trump's cabinet nominees and former sanctions officials. But final decisions will depend on the president-elect himself, Bloomberg wrote. Trump's team is expected to confront challenges similar to those faced by the outgoing Biden administration in balancing sanctions enforcement with avoiding global oil market disruptions. A new package of military assistance from Italy, which includes advanced weapons, is on its way to Ukraine. The Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Rustem Umierov, announced this after a meeting with his Italian counterpart, Guido Crosetto, in Kiev. According to the minister, these weapons will help the defense forces to deliver powerful strikes against the Russian occupiers. Umierov also informed that he and Crosetto had agreed to strengthen defense cooperation between Ukraine and Italy. Separately, the defense ministers of the two countries discussed joining forces in the defense industry. Ukraine and Italy are planning to launch joint ventures and other initiatives to maximize support for the Ukrainian defense sector. In turn, Guido Crosetto confirmed Italy's strong support for Ukraine and emphasized the importance of expanding the Ramstein format. In early December last year, Reuters reported, citing its own sources, that the Italian government had been preparing a new military aid package for Ukraine. It was supposed to be approved by the end of December. It will be the 10th since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion. And in his video address on January 16, 2025, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Italy had been preparing the 11th package of defense support for the Ukrainian defense forces. Military assistance from Italy since the beginning of the Russian invasion in February 2022 has been quite significant. However, unlike other countries, the Italian government rarely announces arms transfers to Ukraine. All information on this is classified. Italy, together with France, has already handed over one SAMP-T battery to Ukraine. Italy has also announced the transfer of an additional battery of this SAM to Ukraine. And speaking about the axis of evil, President of the Russian Federation Vladimir Putin and President of Iran Masoud Pezeshkian signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement. The document was published on the website of the Russian presidential administration. The new document replaces the agreement on the foundations of relations and principles of cooperation between Russia and Iran, signed in 2001. The agreement covers various areas: economic, trade, energy, scientific, technological, and military. It is concluded for a period of 20 years with the possibility of automatic renewal every 5 years. It is subject to ratification and will enter into force 30 days after the date of the last written notification of the completion of the relevant internal procedures. However, unlike a similar agreement with North Korea, this treaty does not oblige the parties to provide each other with military assistance in case of an attack. If one of the contracting parties is subjected to aggression, the other contracting party shall not provide any military or other assistance to the aggressor that contributes to the continuation of the aggression, and shall endeavor to settle the differences arising on the basis of the Charter of the United Nations and others, reads paragraph 3, article 3 of the treaty. The parties also agreed not to enter into agreements with third countries aimed against each other and not to permit the use of their territory to violate the sovereignty of the other party. In addition, Russia and Iran agreed to conduct joint military exercises on their territories and abroad within the framework of international law. They also agreed to cooperate in the military technical sphere.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.